All right, this new project is this is a little reference I got when we were in Amsterdam. I saw these ducks and I took a picture. It's a lot of green in here in this reference, but we're going to play around with colors. So in a case like this where you see a lot of green, usually what we do is we prime the canvas in red, because red is opposite green on the color wheel. Now, why red? Because red infuses the painting with energy. This is all, most of the colors in here are cool colors. So if you put a background of a warm color, then you will see specks of this warm color inside in between the green, and that will give it a beautiful energy and life. It gives the painting life. It's just very nice. But when we do this, we have to put a layer of dark green at that point. So that's why what I'm going to do now is actually that's why I asked everybody to prime the canvas in dark green, as if we're working on black gesso in dark green, so we don't have to put it there, so we can highlight the plants or the greenery in there. So if we want to infuse it with a bit of red, we can do that still. We could just put hints of red here and there in the painting, or pink. That will work too. Any warm color that's opposite green on the color wheel will work. So for this today, what we're going to do is start with the green in the background. And in the back, right here, inside. See where, by the way, what are these called? Reeds? Reeds. Okay, so they are called reeds. Okay, so right behind the reeds, there is dark green in there, and that's what we're going to start there in that corner. So I have here Sap Green, and I have Cobalt Blue and Cadmium Yellow Light. Also, by mixing Cobalt Blue and Cadmium Yellow Light, we're going to get a nice green, very nice green, toned down green. It's not like when we mix cerulean blue and cadmium yellow light. The cerulean blue is much more lighter, and it will give you that summer kind of green. This one here is a bit muted. So if I take this and I put it in here, you will see that the green is slightly muted, not very bright. But it's still beautiful. It's a nice bluish green. And why do I have these and I'm using blue as well? Just for variety. So we don't use only green, sap green. It just makes it much more interesting. So now we're not doing this. Don't do that. Let's start with some sap green. We can also put some red in here, and that will, if we do, this is a great project for greens because there's so many ways you can do green.
That light or medium red?
Light, cadmium red light. If I take a bit of cadmium red light and I put it in my green, I'm changing my green into olive green. It's beautiful too. It's a very nice color. So doing that will give me a hint of red in there in the back. Not much, just a little bit. Now, I have use any brush you like. I'm using bright or a flat. And with the corner of my brush, you can hardly see it now. I'm going to highlight it a little bit more with yellow. Shouldn't be too light because this green is in the background. We want the green to be there, but not overwhelming, like not strong. We're going to give it some, that's good. We're going to give it some room because it's going to dry darker. So with the corner of my brush, I'm just kind of putting a hint of green in the back. I'm using the corner of my brush. I'm just dabbing in different directions. I turn my brush around when I'm dabbing so I don't get the same brush stroke. And now you see that because I have red in there, I could see the red in the green as well, because I have a bit of red in my green. Okay. I'm going to darken a bit green. Just take some sap green in there. That's how I'm darkening it. And put a hint. We don't want to lose the dark green.
Under the waterline?
Under. Yeah, under. You can't see it, right?
No.
Okay. So under, yes, under here. Under here. Yeah. So we want that dark in there, very dark in there to give us depth. So if I lose my dark in there, I'm going to put it back. Because that is where it creates depth. And if I lose the depth, then I have to put it back on. Right there. Right in here. But I'm going to wait for it to dry and see how it goes. This is what's nice about this project. It's the depth, the darks in there, and then the highlights that come, the plants that are in front. Also, if you put a bit of water in your color, in your paint, that makes it more like a glaze, and you put it on, when it dries, it will dry darker. So it will be there. You will see the hint, but it's not going to be strong. Because whatever you have at the bottom will take over. So I mixed again some greens. So it's green with red, sap green with red, a very, very small amount of yellow, and I'm just going to put kind of a hint of ripples in here. And it's not thick. It's not a thick paint. I will be highlighting more later on. So for now, this is good. I'm just putting randomly some, I'm going to make it more olive green. I'm going to change my green now a little bit to this on this side into just sap green, a bit of yellow in it, just tiny bit of yellow. So just you know, enough for you to see it. So this way our greens in here are not exactly the same everywhere. It's going to be layers of greens, different greens, and then we will highlight. Here we have a good base. I'm going to pause for a minute. Okay, so this is dry right now, and I see that it's too strong. I want to push it back. I don't want it that strong. Now, I have two options. I could use Ivory Black and Sap Green and then just glaze it and push it back. Or I could use raw Umber and Sap Green and push it back. I'll use Ivory Black, Sap Green, and glaze, meaning that it's not dark, it's not heavy, because if you do heavy, then you're going to cover the whole thing. You're not going to see anything. So I'm going to put a little bit of water in here, and then from the bottom part, glaze the whole thing. especially at the bottom. We want some darks at the bottom here, this part here. And then, oh, jeez. And then here, just kind of push it back. The bottom part should be dark. That's perfect. Okay, same. We're going to take some black, sap green. You can hardly see the line in between the water and land, or the green, where the green start. So it's pretty dark in there. It's okay, it's not going to stay like that. Even if you see that this is dark, it's not going to stay like this. We're going to be eventually having some, showing some reflection in here of the leaves. So it's okay. If you find that it's extremely dark, we are going to work on this. Okay.
We had to step away. Was that Ivory Black with the green to darken that?
Yeah, yep, Ivory Black and green.
Sorry.
No problem. No problem. You know that if you take Ivory Black, see, like here, look at this. You take Ivory Black and Cadmium Yellow Light, you mix them, you get a beautiful green. This is Ivory Black and Cadmium Yellow Light. Just giving a hint of some leaves showing through. All right, that's good. Okay, so now let's work on the reeds part. I did a bit of a little bit of a sample here on this one, and just for you to see, if I take, we're gonna.
Margaret's got a company.
Yeah, Margaret has a.
Be painting green focus. He's
looking
at it.
So if I take my knife, and then I dip my knife in the paint, and I go like this, I'm gonna get really nice reeds this way.
Or you kind of have it on the side a bit.
On the side a bit.
Yeah.
It's not gonna be perfect, and we don't want it to be perfect. So, but the thing is, I'm gonna dip my brush, my knife in a bit of water here, so it's not too thick. If I come to this side, I'm going to show you the difference. If I start by putting the knife technique over a dark base, I'm going to have too much of gaps, dark gaps in between. So for me not to have to see those gaps in between, see how it's a dark, and then you have the, and in between it's very dark. It's too dark in between. Like that. So instead of, for me not to have this, what I'm going to do is take burnt umber. By the way, I have burnt umber, raw sienna, and yellow ochre here. And I'm going to mix some burnt umber because I want a dark background, but I don't want it to be green dark, like black dark. So I'm going to mix it here with either a burnt sienna or yellow ochre. And then I'm going to do that, like this. It has to be dark. Not too dark, but dark enough, okay? Because once we start putting the reeds on top, if this is not dark enough, then the reeds are not going to show. Because then we'll have to highlight them a lot. So I'm going to do this. Okay, base. Doesn't have to be perfectly done. Like if you see gaps of darks, that's okay. And I'm going to take green after with the same color. Oh, maybe a little bit of a highlight. But it has the same. It has a bit of brown in it. And I'm just going to do this as well. Just the top of the reeds have some green in there. So it's like a dry technique, dry brush technique, and dark green in there. Like that. Okay. We can take it all the way up if we want. Now at this point, if I want to come and highlight or use my knife over this, the knife technique over this, and I would probably add a bit of, this is not white, this is titanium buff. Okay, this is not white. And I'm going to highlight them a bit. Just a bit, because, you know, when you highlight, you want to highlight slowly. So you get depth. Otherwise, it'll be just there, sitting there, and it looks funny. Okay. Now, if I highlight, if I put my reeds over this, actually, you know what? It's better not to put water in this. Just use it. Just do it. Just do it without water, because you get a beautiful texture. This is one way. If you don't want to do knife, then we can just use the brush. That's one way. Let me see if it's better with a bit of water or without. Let's see. Maybe it's better with water. Because I find this is too thick. I like this part. See. It needs a bit of getting used to. And I wouldn't worry too much about the blobs, because we can go back and darken in between. Now, again, I mentioned that this is with knife if you don't want to do the knife. We can use brush. So if you take a good flat brush, tapers into a nice clean tip, and you take your paint, as long as your paint is a bit wet, not too thick, otherwise it will blob, and you do this. And it'll be fine. That will work too. Straight, like just straight lines. It takes longer, and it just needs to be there. Patient. Now for the reflection, we're going to go a little bit darker, and we're going to put a little bit of water in there. Think water. That's why it needs to be running. Oh yeah. And just kind of, we'll do the reflection with the corner of my brush. I'm just going to take this and then wiggle the reflection. All right, with the corner of the brush, of the flat brush. All right, let's do this. Whoa, lovely. I got paint all over. Thank God it's acrylics. There we go, done. All right. All right, let's work on this. Let's take a brush first. Burnt umber. Some of any of those two yellow colors. Raw umber or yellow ochre. You can also put a bit of green in there, but not now. I would do it that way. All right, I'm going to take this and then just give it a nice, and I'll show you how we can also, after we do this, I'll show you how we can open up some sometimes when we do these things, we're going to end up with a closed up between the leaves. Same here. So these are on the same level, kind of. So I'll take a bit of more brown in here. Okay, again. I think my hand is blocking the process. Trying not to block it. All right, now I'm going to take some green, mix the green with a bit of brown. Because I don't want to lose the darks behind where the green is. I need this dark in here. All right, just kind of same here. The only reason I'm putting green because I don't want to end this with a dark background and the reeds. Okay, and then I'm gonna go like that. Okay. Okay. I'm not worried about having it made, like having the bottom part in, you know, at the proper clean here. It's not. It doesn't matter at this point. Once we put the reeds, we finish them, then we will work on the cleaning up the bottom parts. Maybe using a smaller, shorter knife, whatever knife you have, it doesn't matter for the reeds, but honestly, it doesn't matter. Do you want me to stop a bit so you can get to this part? Shall I stop? Pause?
Yeah. Okay, I think.
You're...
While you were doing the test one, I was following it. So.
Ah, okay.
I don't know about everybody else.
Good.
I'm not getting the palette knife to work, so I'm just using brush.
Brush? Okay.
Yeah.
All right. I'll probably
come off.
I'll probably do the same eventually. I am not very good with knife technique, palette knife.
Well, I thought the palette knife effect looked really cool.
Pardon?
I found the palette knife effect to be really cool. Because I was
It is.
along
It is. Yeah.
I think it looks good.
Good.
I just couldn't get it to come off my knife for some reason.
You have to stamp it.
Yeah, I guess.
I put too much water in the paint, so I'm not getting a thick line. So I'm going to go back and put more paint. Let's see. That's better. You just have to make sure that you have the right consistency. it needs a bit of practice. You know, I would put a masking tape at the bottom. But I don't know, looks more organic this way. Oh, no. Okay. And it doesn't have to be all of it. You can connect some parts. I mean, some just kind of, they don't have to be looking like separate, like perfect. And I'll show you how we can disconnect them after. Okay. I'm going to do one layer of the knife, and then another layer. The top layer will be, oh, whatever highlights I'm going to put, it's going to be brush. It just gives it a bit of texture. I'm not taking too much paint on my palette knife, just enough. Okay. Let's clean this and adjust color and texture, and go back to my greens right here, and a little bit of brown, black, brown, green, and then just the still wet. Let's do the other side, which should be by now dry, but it is though done with knife, so it takes longer to dry because it's thick layer. But I'm gonna adjust the height using green, black, brown, pushing back those reeds down a little bit. And controlling the height. and the shape. This green that I'm using, the paint is not very thick, okay? So I'm just kind of softening all these, the top part. I'm keeping the bottom part a bit more textured, but I'm softening the top part as well. Now I mentioned I'll show you how to open up the bottom part if you have too much dark light colored in there. Like if the colors, the paint is overlapping and you lose the darks in there. So you take round brush, take brown, put some black in the brown. We need the dark color in here. I don't want to use just black, or it could be just green and black. As long as you have a dark color. Round brush, and you come here, and in between, you just go in. Ooh, it's still wet. Paint is still wet. And you open up some of these. If you find that you lost the gaps in between, the dark gaps in between. You don't need to. If you find that it's looking good and this is what you want, you don't have to do anything, any of that. The paint is wet because I've been using knife, so you get it takes time for it to dry. Now this is not highlighted yet. This is just the first layer. If I want to highlight this, I'm going to get a good brush, round brush. Small one. And over the, sorry, I'm trying to get the right size. This is the size. And over that this layer that we have created. I'm going to take titanium buff, put some yellow ochre or raw sienna in it. Clean my brush. And start highlighting certain reeds in here. Putting a little bit of water in here so with the paint, so the brush flows, because if the paint is dry then it will blob. Those reeds are part of the important kind of feature of the painting, so that's why I'm spending a little bit more time on them. They're like the base. I'm putting a bit of green. Oops. Let's do that. A bit of green in here. Because I'm going to push some of them up. Let's clean up the bottom. Burnt umber. Actually, you know what? I'm going to put a bit of black in this burnt umber as well. And the same, I'm going to go in and open up some of these lines in here. This is black and cadmium yellow light. I need a kind of a green that is muted green. And with this muted green, I'm just going to push this up a bit. You know what? It needs more yellow so we can see it. I want it muted, but at the same time I want to see it. Okay, that's good. With the same round brush, I'm pushing some green up. Not all the way. I don't want to lose the dark. The darks in between, especially at top part. Bottom part is okay if I lose some of the dark, but the top part, I need that. I need those. I need this dark in there. This is just preparation for the leaves that we're going to put on top. So the leaves, when we start putting those leaves on top, it's going to look really, really good. So I'm going to work on each one of these separately instead of all at the same time like I did here, but
Let's say goodbye, everybody.
all right, bye, Susan.
Look forward to seeing you next week.
See you next week. Bye. Okay. For those beautiful kind of leaves hanging, oh, it's after 4. Okay. So shall we continue next week?
Yeah.
Okay.
That's probably a good idea, yeah.
All right. We'll continue.
After 10, yeah.
Yeah, okay. No problem. All right. I'm going to stop and then we'll continue next week. All right.
Okay, have a good week, everyone. Bye-bye.
Bye.
Bye. See you.
Bye-bye. Bye-bye.
Good weekend.